What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be installing a Hamax Observer baby seat. This is just going to be a quick few-minute video on how to properly install one. So let's get started. So let's get this box opened up. Alright, so what do we have here? We have some sort of a bracket that goes onto the threadless headset. And I've seen these before. This is a rather small seat, which is kind of necessary to have, because if you have too big of a seat whenever you're trying to ride the bike, your legs are going to be hitting the seat. So let's get the bracket installed. Actually, what else do we have in here? We've got another bracket. Okay. We won't be using this. This is for a different, this is for a threaded stem. This one is a threadless. This is what we're going to be using right here. What else do we have? Okay, these are going to be the feet support. Anything else? Okay, so this is going to be a fairly simple build. The first thing you want to do is you want to loosen these two side bolts on the stem. So we're going to loosen this one and this one. And you want to keep backing them off until you get a little less resistance. Okay, I can feel it loosening up there. Then you're going to want to remove this top bolt. Now this bolt adjusts the bearing tension, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, we're going to put this aside. Try not to lose it. Now, it's very important for you to look at the distance of the steer tube in the stem. You want as much steer tube as possible in the stem without touching the top cap or getting to the top of the stem here. We're going to pull the stem off, and we're going to check the distance here. We're going to put this on. Make sure you're putting it on properly. That's upside down. That's not going to work, so we're going to turn it this way. So let's see how the stem goes. Okay, this is not good enough. As you can see, there is more than 1 to 2 millimeters for the steer tube in the stem. So we need 1 to 2 millimeters at the most. So we're going to have to change the spacing on this. You may have to go to the local bike shop and change one of these spacers to a thinner one. Luckily, I have one right here. As you can see, we're changing the spacing by quite a bit. Okay. So I'm going to leave this one spacer off because I like to put the thin spacer on top here, because depending on which stem you have, it may interfere with the this clamp. So we're going to install the stem, and if you'll notice, we have like 2 millimeters in this stem. We're going to install this top cap again. And now we're going to line everything up. We need to line up the wheel, the handlebars, and we need to leave this bolt loose on the clamp for the child seat. And what you want to do is you want to screw this top cap in until you start feeling some resistance. Okay, now most of these bikes with this type stem has a front brake, so you can apply the front brake and gently rock the bike back and forth, and if it's too loose, you get a lot of play in the headset. So you can keep tightening up the bearing here until you get rid of the play. Now this, you don't want to over tighten this. It just needs to, you screw this in until it makes contact. Okay, you line up the stem with the wheel, so we're going to make sure that the handlebar is straight with the wheel. And what I do is I line the wheel up with the frame, and then I line up the handlebars with the dropout of the fork. And then you want to tighten the stem to the manufacturer's maximum recommended torque, which on this stem, 6 Newton meters. So that's why I love these torque wrenches. Helps if I use the right size bit. So we're going to get the torque wrench. Can you see it?
Yes.
And we're going to tighten it to the 6 Newton meters. Now, after everything is done, we're going to ensure that this is straight. And then we're going to tighten the baby seat clamp down. And then you want to snug this down, not too tight. And that's done. After you get everything lined up, check to make sure that this clamp for the child seat doesn't turn easily. This is turning way too easily, so we're going to keep on tightening this until you can't move it easily with your hand. Now, you never, ever want to install this child carrier on a bike with a carbon fiber steer tube. That's just too dangerous. So there we go. You just keep tightening this until it stops moving. Okay, now we're going to get the baby seat. So there are some keys that come on this child carrier that we'll need to remove. So we're going to just undo this. And there is a pin right here. So we're going to get this key and we're going to turn it just a little bit, and that's going to unlock this seat. We're going to slide it into place until we hear a click, okay? And then we're going to push that pin in after it's fully in place, and that will, it'll keep the seat from getting stolen. Now is a good time to install the legs here. You'll hear an audible click when they're fully engaged. And we're going to install the next one. You hear that click. These footrests are adjustable. You can raise them up and down, and these straps are very easy to adjust. Whenever you get the kid's foot in here, you can simply pull on the strap and get it tightened down, and that will keep his feet in place. The seat belt is super easy to use on this. Easily snaps into place. You can use one hand. The straps are easy to adjust to the child's shoulders. If you over tighten it, you just push this red button here and it easily slides back. So, very nice, very nicely done. I think we're about ready for a test ride. Leg clearance isn't too bad. It's like, ah! It's not too bad, but it's not perfect. All right. Now, this seat actually turned out really well. I've been very happy with the quality of it. There's a few concerns, I shouldn't say concerns, a few things that you should know about. One, do not exceed 33 pounds with this seat. It's a little on the smaller side, so you want to actually make sure that you get your kid on the seat as soon as possible. And with that being said, make sure that the kid is at least 11 months or older. If you're concerned about this, you can check with your pediatrician. The mounting of the seat is actually amazing. It goes on and comes off very easily. Make sure that you're not putting this onto a carbon fiber steer tube or even a carbon fiber frame, because you're mounting it to the steer tube, which is going to be putting forces on the steer tube that it really wasn't designed for. On this install, it was on a mountain bike, and you lean forward, and with a seat right there, that can actually pose a problem. So make sure that you're installing this on a comfort bike or a hybrid or cruiser. If you do that, you'll be fine. The footrests that are actually mounted onto the seat actually extend past the top tube, so make sure that you're aware of this, because it's going to restrict some of the movements. Now, if you found this video helpful, if you liked it, please leave me a big thumbs up. Check out some of the other videos on the corner of the screen. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. The paper is falling in front of the lens.